tendencies, and today we are doing a full moon in Scorpio astrological placement reading happening on May 5th. Now, May 5th is also, it has a few events within it. So we have the full moon in Scorpio, which is also known as the flower moon. We also have the lunar eclipse happening, and amidst the Mercury retrograde in the current, we will be just about at the halfway point within that time period. So all of this together represents the idea of what we are revising, what we are truly allowing ourselves to look at in vulnerability, helping us understand what needs to be released, what needs to be shed in order to reach our manifestations, clear the way of what's preventing the sun from truly helping us open up the flower that we are, and helping us shine in our authentic self, our authentic truth, our true expression, and how to move forward in achievement of our manifestations. The dog is snoring. With this time, it is a very vulnerable time. I'm sure all of us are feeling the effects from Mercury retrograde. With this full moon and eclipse, it is a great portal window to adhere to what we truly want, what we truly desire, who we truly are. And I hope that these messages help you come to terms within in confidence and beauty and strength to clear away anything that's stopping you from your destined paths. Before we get into the messages, with every astrological placement, we will be reading a random page pull from The Return of Collective Intelligence by Derry Dyer. This book is a beautiful book. It is all about collective intelligence, collective consciousness, how we come together as a community, how we are all linked together, and understanding how to grow power within that, grow power within community, and, you know, the more natural worlds within this modern age. So I welcome you to scrub through the time bar to retrieve your astrological placement reading, whether you are sun, moon, rising. You're welcome to go through all of them, and I will see you there. Hello Gemini, welcome to your reading. Today we are doing a reading for the full moon in Scorpio. This is happening on May 5th. This full moon is also known as the flower moon, and being that we will be in the midpoint of the Mercury retrograde, we're going to get into the energy of what you are currently manifesting, what you need to release in order to truly blossom your manifestations into fruition. Shine your light in your authenticity, be exactly who you are, and heed your forward movement path with your manifestations, with grace, with gratitude, and with victory. So your reading is going to be very interesting. It looks like there is this ancestral message coming through about your manifestations. It's very positive and uplifting. I have your piles here, but I do have a good introduction with the bottom of the decks in front of me, and it looks like although there may be some outside external distractions going on right now, you're hoping for the best, you're holding on to your manifestations, and if anyone needs a confirmation that your manifestations were heard, they definitely were. So we're going to be getting into that energy. Before we get started, we're going to do a random page pull from The Return of Collective Intelligence by Derry Dyer. This is a beautiful book that ties into collective intelligence, collective consciousness, how things work as a whole, as a community, especially when tying things back to the natural world, manifestation, magic, and all of the different character types within the ecosystem of community. So let's get started. I'm going to do the random page pull, and then we will get straight into your message for you. Okay, so the page we have today is 168 in the section called Cultural Trance. It says, perhaps most obviously, you won't find much love in collective stupidity. What love there may be is fearful, constricted, behind walls, confined to what is mine, my family, my country, my group. Expansive, inclusive love for all that isn't there. If collective intelligence is a group's connection to the infinite source of wisdom, collective stupidity is the result of consistently failing to make that connection. Tom Atlee of the Co-Intelligence Institute believes that the result of competition, conformity, or poorly designed systems and feedback loops that reward people for doing or punish them for not doing actions that we are destructive over the long term or endanger the life around them. As with collective intelligence, it starts with the individual and works through groups. But the great irony is that collective stupidity is driven by fear, which automatically causes division. The group, which should be a unified force, reinforces the illusion of isolation and ends up becoming the problem. Whenever we identify too strongly with any group, a species, a race, a gender, a religion, an ideology, a political party, a nation, a culture, a social or economic class, an occupation, a generation, even a football team, we are underscoring separateness. This identification opens the door to groupthink. The group takes over thinking for its members, setting the standards for their actions. Unlike collective intelligence, in which every member of the group consciously contributes his or her energy and talent for the good of all, collective stupidity requires no effort. Instead, it expects each person to renounce or suppress his or her unique gifts to be a part of a chosen herd, which invariably has a fixed and divisive agenda. Implicit in groupthink is the belief that my group is better than yours, so I am better than you. You are the other, and therefore not only inferior, but possibly dangerous as well. Okay, so I feel like this has a relative connection to your reading as far as what division is. You may be going through a time where you might be facing a realm of separateness within either your community, within work, within life in general. And as Gemini, you lead with this dualistic nature, this two-sided expression that has a really hard time determining which side of the fence you're on. I think that this is a strong suit of yours, and it's leading you into a space of gray area, I believe. Especially when it comes to your manifestations, you ultimately are leading to achieve the best possible outcome for yourself, but you also very much care to choose the best possible outcome for your groups, for your communities, and who you choose to involve yourself with. So let's get into your message. We're going to start with the Ascended Mastery Oracle deck. The first card we have here is Saint Germain, Karma Releasing, Move Beyond Drama, Create Your Own Path, Make Room for Good Energy. This was in the reverse. So we have Saint Germain. We have Kuan Yin, Care and Compassion, Choose to be loved, do what is right for everyone involved, offer a helpful hand. And then we have the Miriam, Sacred Vision. Choose to forgive in order to heal. See the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. This is in reverse. The Miriam. And again, this double side of you, this dualistic side of you. Beautiful. Okay. And then in the Angelarium deck, we have Malkuth, the Ground Kingdom, in the reverse. Malkuth. $7.17. We have Netza, Right Leg Endurance. We have Tiferet, the heart beauty, in the reverse. I have a heart chakra frequency going for you guys. Raziel, Angel of Mysteries, in the reverse. The Ace of Swords. $8.18. That is in tarot. And then the next card in tarot we have is the King of Wands. We have Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. This has a very purposeful meaning behind it. We have the Ten of Wands. We have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. And we have the Five of Swords in the reverse. This is beautiful. This is really good. I think that there's going to be hopefully a lot of light shined upon your situation for you in this to gain clarity, especially when it comes to navigation and making decisions within this region. In the Shamanic Medicine Oracle deck, we have Crystals, Amplification. We have Birds, Freedom. And we have the Medicine Shield, Protection. Okay. So, to get into your message, the first thing I want to say is maybe within your community there may be a lot of individuals relying on you either for your opinion, your standpoint, to choose a side. And being that you're a Gemini, you're not the type to do so. You're the type to stand in the middle and say, I agree with you here and I agree with you here. You're the type to really distinguish where you stand as an individual. I think this is what develops a really strong leadership quality that you hold, and ultimately in the long run it looks like it's going to lead you either by example, it's going to lead others by example, through your optimism and through your empathy from seeing things from a much larger perspective, or it can lead you into a realm where you get to choose a pathway where you can truly lead who you are and create unity within a diverse realm of individuals. Okay, so the first card we had here was the Saint Germain, this karma releasing. Move beyond drama, create your own path, make room for good energy. Being that it was in the reverse, I possibly see that as this this space where it's really hard to, you may be very overwhelmed with a lot of the drama happening within a situation, whether this be in a community space, whether this be at work, you know, even family. You know, it seems like there may be external influences coming to you with so many different sides of more of a dramatic standpoint, and you may be relatively overwhelmed with this. It's important, again, in the reverse, I saw this as a reminder to make sure that you create your own path, make sure you create your own perspective in this, Geminis are also very good at being empathic, being very nurturing, very giving, and assisting to the world around them. And so being caught up in so many different perspectives or so many different angles, it's hard sometimes to really distinguish where you as your own individual, with your own perspective, with your own thinking, with your own authority, basically, is going to drive a whole new path down the middle to unify a divide. And this might relatively be a hard foot to take on. Ultimately is going to lead you as well as everyone else into a space of clarity, into a space of harmony, into a space where the differences can kind of learn to coexist, collaborate, and drive within a realm of everyone having their own individual part of a working engine, if that makes sense. Make room for good energy. Again, this is taking your own authority, choosing to not be a part of the drama, but respectively observe and find your own inner calling of where you stand and really provide your own forward movement, so that way either the right individuals can follow, or you can drive yourself into a new space that resembles something that was truly created under your own navigation. Again, with this manifesting happening, you might currently be going through some obstacles and tests that are trying your manifestations. Your manifestations have been heard. I believe that you're really working on something amazing for yourself, but the external world is kind of testing you in obstacle to decide if you want to take on a more so leadership role, or if you would like to remain amongst the drama. Again, this karma releasing. And it looks like you ultimately want to release the obstacles. You want to heed forward, determined, and lean into a new way of being, living, and expressing for yourself, including not having to worry about any external energies that are conflicting with one another. With this Kuan Yin, care and compassion, choose to be love, see the right, do what is right for everyone involved, offer a helping hand. I see you doing that currently. I really see you embracing a role within, helping others understand the alternate perspectives of situations, doing what is right for everyone involved in the sake of really bringing a lot of grounded energy to any sort of conflict, or contrasting beliefs or behaviors, or wills within a situation. You are illuminating a lot of love, and you're doing a lot to remain grounded within yourself in hopes that things will subside. Being we're also in Mercury Retrograde, if there is of course any sort of conflict within communication, whether it be work, family, community, what have you, you're kind of the one holding down the fort with your grounding energy, with your ability to hold wishful thinking, hold the manifestation of the whole coming out on the other end as a whole, rather than through a deeper expansion of division. This Miriam, the Miriam sacred vision, choose to forgive in order to heal, see the light in all, remember that love has no boundaries. In the reverse, I saw that as maybe if there is any sort of drama, there may be some sort of opinions that are being either expressed towards you, for other individuals, or even for yourself, that you not necessarily take to heart, possibly, but you take to a depth that you acknowledge that it's either an incorrect perspective, it does more damage through that perspective than it does good. You might really be developing some sort of irritation or overwhelming energy around all of this. And so this card is really just a reminder to remain to see the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. If you need to either speak up and correct an individual for, having a more damaging standpoint against either another or yourself, feel correct and accurate within yourself to do so. That's very valid. But you're really doing a lot, I think, to continue to see the light in the situation, continue to illuminate hope, continue to carry this grounded energy for your community, for whichever form it is. With this Malkuth, the ground kingdom in the reverse, I saw that as using that grounding energy for external influences more so. And this is an ancestral message. The energy that's really here is ancestral. The ancestral energy that is supporting you really wants you to focus that groundingness, that grounded energy on yourself. Being able to, I wouldn't say redirect, but realign the energy that you put outwards into yourself, focus on yourself. Really separate yourself from any sort of drama and focus on the healing work within yourself is going to illuminate and spread the efforts you do internally, externally to your situation. It's the idea of, say maybe being in the swarm of situation, the swarm of occurrence, being, dead in the middle, caught in this chaos. You being able to step outside, work on yourself, and transfer any sort of energy that you're doing internally into the group from the outside angle, the outside perspective is truly going to be what will help you, but also your community in the long run. This is going to really envelop and develop deeper leadership characteristics within yourself that are going to influence these individuals by seeing you taking the higher path, if that makes sense. Taking, whether you call it the bigger person, whether you call it, choosing to remain in self, remain grounded, remain in your own perspective. It's going to teach and influence a lot of individuals. And say if there are individuals or energies within this space that don't hold appreciation for it, well then that's a part of the manifestation that needs to be purged out. That's a part of the process that needs to be released. I think as a team, when you're able to step back, especially when you have the characteristic type within this reading to be more so a leader or a mentor or, a team lead, you are really going to teach a lot of individuals with this, like I was saying. With this Netza right leg endurance, I really see that as, again, hoping for the best, heeding the path forward, remaining sure-footed, putting one foot in front of the other, especially when things might be slowing down because of any sort of drama. You're allowing yourself to still pull. You're allowing yourself to take the rope, take the way, and lead forward. And of course, this is going to come a time where under divine intervention, people are either going to have to sink or swim with this. People are going to have to either acknowledge the work that you're doing and move with you, or they're going to have to, drop the dead weight and move on. And you pulling this rope forward, you carrying this, the foot, you being the action-oriented movement for the manifestation of this group, for this energy, being the one who can navigate the way out of the, choppy waters, the muddied waters, any sort of energy like that, is really beneficial here. And that really truly explains and amplifies, shines light on the idea of you being some sort of leader within this. I think there is some energy around you accepting that you are some sort of leader behind this, that you hold a very strong light source that is literally leading people by example, and they look up to you for a sense of authority. And so choosing to, I suppose, go into hermit mode, go into your own space, your own sanctuary, productively working on yourself, regrounding yourself, providing yourself, the peace, the love, the quiet, the release of any sort of drama or worry or stress of this, and focusing on your manifestations and moving forward. Again, that's going to illuminate the path for others to recognize you doing so, in which they will take your example being led for their own pathway. With this Tiferet Heart Beauty in the reverse, I saw that again as taking the step back and focusing on your heart, focusing on eliminating any sort of energy, chaos, any sort of drama within this situation, and really just focusing on yourself, focusing on what you want out of the situation. Again, you have a very grounded perspective within all of this. You have this dualistic ability to see so many angles of a situation, to create your own decision, to create your own perspective. And with this Raziel, Angel of Mysteries in the reverse, I see this as amongst the drama, amongst the chaos, allowing yourself to make that step backwards so you can focus on your manifestations. This Raziel here, Angel of Mysteries, is all about manifesting. It's all about what's inside this book of the unknown, the mysteries. Allowing yourself to open that book up, to read it, to write in it, to really decide what you want out of the situation. And this card also resembles the energy of etheric guidance, etheric beings, your spirit team really being there to want to hear your voice and what you want to happen, because this card represents you have the keys in your hand to do this. I need you to start writing, per se. In tarot, with this Ace of Swords and this King of Wands, again, it's the idea of you have this sword, you have this decision, you have this intention, you have this leadership, you have this quality of, moving smoothly and confidently and calmly through the chaos of all of the energy happening around you. And you, because of that, because you're able to really remain steady, you have the decision to make upon this. You have the sword to point in the direction and say, this is where we're going. We're no longer going to do this. We're going to use the sword to cut out any sort of negative energy. We're going to stop, causing drama, causing conflict. We are going to come into a space of unity and harmony. If you can't do that, then I'm sorry, right? I think that there is some sort of conflict surrounding you, but currently for you, as a Gemini, I think you're leading very smoothly through this Mercury retrograde. I think you're kind of identifying possibly how it's affecting the world around you, but it's not necessarily affecting you in a very turbulent way, to where this is like a height, this height point. I mean, we had Beltane on the 1st. This rebirth, we're in this portal energy that you're really being this light source of guidance for the world around you. And so stepping up and really owning this blade, owning this sword, owning this intention, this decision is going to help not just yourself, but your community maneuver out of it. And then I'm going to be repeating myself. I've already repeated myself several times through this, but there's a lot of the energy that is just confirmation after confirmation of a lot of the same energy, to really help you know and trust within your ability of being this leadership role within this group. this King of Wands came out right after the Ace of Swords, and this really tells me that you are the foundations of this. You are the manifester of this. You are the, you know, the curator of the situation. And with this King of Wands, this wand in your hand, this master manifester ability, you have the ability to really shine light and provide messages and clarity and forward movement for your community through that ability to manifest, through that ability to use your wand, to use your sword, to really be innovative. I really believe it's more of like an innovative or either reconstructive idea that you're really being asked to stand up, share your voice upon, and allow a miracle to occur within the situation. Really embrace your ability behind this. With this Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, and this Ten of Wands, sometimes the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse resembles a couple things, right? I think in this reading, it resembles the idea of possibly either not wanting to lean into more of a boss or leadership role, or not knowing that you have this ability to do so. You know, creating a very nurturing, compassionate, loving, feminine, guiding energy, manifesting energy, imaginative energy within a material or financial space. This really resembles like a position of work, right? A feminine energied position within a job. You may not feel as if you're qualified to do so, and that's why I'm really seeing this in reverse within this particular reading. That, or you may even feel as if like this isn't something you want to do because of, you see how choppy the waters are within this energy, within, you know, this space. But this could also be because of the idea of not feeling like you hold the credentials enough, because there are so many wands, so many energies that you have to, you know, be a part of authority over. This is really all up to you. This is your decision to either take on more of a leadership role within this or completely separate yourself. That's really, it seems, what it looks like for you. There's no specific cards in here that relate to decision besides this Ace of Swords and really claiming your intention. So that way the decision, the doorways moving forward can really just open up for you. That will lead you to the highest outcome of this situation. Maybe the idea that decisions within this are really meant to be held off till a further time, just focusing on yourself, focusing on your grounding, focusing on your heart, and focusing on your intention for the situation will help decisions moving forward unfold for you. But again, this Queen of Pentacles energy, I really see that as you, and the idea of it being in the reverse as maybe a subconscious disbelief of acknowledging yourself as so. With this Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, okay, yeah, so this Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, and then this Ten of Wands, and then this Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, and then this Five of Swords. I see that as like you might either not want or see yourself as this form because of the turbulence of the situation, right? Because of the chaos, because of all of the, honestly, weight and mess of situation that this has become. This energy, the chaos right now, may be what's preventing you from truly embracing like a forward movement into this material pursuit of some sort, financial, whatever, work, relation. this Knight of Pentacles resembles a movement towards either a financial or material pursuit, is the ultimate plain forward meaning behind this card. And being in the reverse, I see that this chaos is what's stagnating this for you. Being able to really see the bigger picture move forward, and that's causing this Five of Swords in the reverse energy, like this false victory, this inability to see the way out, inability to get out of the, you know, the grips and war zone that may be occurring surrounding you. In the reverse, I saw that as separating yourself from it. Again, separating yourself, working on yourself, focusing on yourself, really structuring your perspective of what your intentions are and expanding through the idea of what you want to happen. Again, opening this book of mysteries, choosing to write down your intentions within it, choosing to really align yourself to your own perspective, your own intentions, your own movement, again, is going to help within this space of division, you know, create your own path. You've unified yourself, and again, therefore, the external reality of yourself within the chaotic group situation is going to magnetize towards the light within that. So yeah, allowing yourself, I think too, this Five of Swords resembles, like, you don't want this to continue playing out anymore. You don't want this false victory to continue playing out anymore. You don't want, you know, the short-term success, the short-term goals that only yield a short-term effect to play out anymore. You really want to be able to have, like, long-term effect within things, long-term victory, production, progression, you know? We have at the bottom of the deck with these card pulls was the Chariot. So you really want to move forward in progression with this. With the Shamanic Medicine Oracle deck, we had Crystals Amplification. We had Birds Freedom. And we had Medicine Shield Protection. Again, this energy, I think, really surrounds this idea of choosing independency within this group. The book kind of talked about the idea of conformity. I think that there are possibly some energies within this conflicting energy that is, you know, really trying to keep people or individuals within a space conformed under some sort of ideology. And you in your heart, you're a Gemini, that's not who you are, right? You have this like dualistic light and dark side of you that is so unified, and it's like having a chameleon-like character, being able to really like shift and take on so many different perspectives and personas because of the range of character you hold. And this isn't, you can't conform this. This happens very intuitively, and whatever sort of character comes out of you usually comes out intuitively when it needs to. And so right now, with the Shamanic Medicine Oracle deck, the cards we have, I see that as really, again, going internally, focusing on your amplification, focus on your grounding, focus on your internal alignment, using crystal healing even, you know, frequency healing, but really focusing on yourself. Allow yourself to separate, go internally, or even just like retreat, go into sanctuary for yourself. Focus on this alignment, focus on this healing, amplify the light that you are, and return back to this situation with wings. Return back to the situation in your freedom that you've accumulated and grown comfortability within in this sanctuary separate space, because it's going to show others where they have wings. It's going to show others that you're not going to conform, but you're going to choose to fly above any sort of drama and see the bigger picture, see from a higher perspective, and heed your own self-proclaimed path within the situation. And it's also going to help others all of these birds, all of these, you know, different winged creatures are taking flight with you. If there is any sort of energy that is going to either berate you or try to like tear you down for not conforming to some sort of ideology, know that you're protected. If there's any sort of drama that's surrounding like a particular individual or individuals within your position here of this group that has some sort of authority, is either a boss, you know, a leader of some sort, I feel like there's some sort of conflict surrounding these individuals in particular. And so you doing so, you embracing your freedom, you embracing your passion, you embracing your ethic behind endurance, behind really working and doing something you're proud of and creating progression rather than short-term stagnancy, you know, short-term progression equaling a lot of, you know, stagnant points within the realm of function of this. You choosing the freedom, you choosing to fly, you choosing the endurance. If there's any sort of energy that wants to combat that, well, it's going to be greeted with this shield of protection. It's going to be deflected. There's a lot of strong ancestral energy here. Divine intervention will play out where it needs to. Know that you're protected to really embrace your own perspective and voice behind this. It's interesting how maybe this situation is really just calling for you to embrace your voice behind this, so that way you can be the change within the situation. It seems like there's like this ancestral energy behind it that's like waiting for you to kind of be tired of any sort of chaos within this to take on a leadership role in order for things to change, because you are the cause to the ripple effect within this, if that makes sense. I say do what you need to do. Definitely focus on yourself, focus on your own intentions, focus on remaining grounded, you know, drama-free, choosing your clarity, choosing your own perspective and voice within this under your own will, and then re-entering the situation with, you know, a plan for navigation is really going to make some changes here. So, yeah, that's really the utmost energy I receive from this. With this buried in earth transference at the bottom of the deck of the shamanic medicine oracle deck, this buried in earth is the idea of possibly, you know, having your head buried in the sand, not knowing what to do, but in turn allowing yourself to go into this self space to really accumulate all of this energy, to transfer and illuminate, amplify your energy, to become, to integrate yourself into becoming shaman, underneath that, the leader of the situation. Okay, thank you very much, Gemini. This was a beautiful reading. I hope that this was helpful. I do hope that your full moon is very beneficial for you. Within this full moon, to truly blossom, open the flower, expand yourself in your authentic truth, in your own authentic independency. I really see that releasing for you really just entails any sort of outside influence that is really trying to conform you to either point A, point B, because you are, you know, in the half point, in the middle, in the gray area, and to really just clear away anything preventing you from choosing your own self-proclamation. So thank you so much for being here. Hope you have a great full moon. Have a good day. Hello Libra, welcome to your reading for the full moon in Scorpio. Full moon in Scorpio is also known as the flower moon. This is happening on May 5th, and being that this is also a lunar eclipse day, as well as being about the midpoint of the Mercury Retrograde, we're getting into the energy of what this time has told for you, what this time is really, you know, maneuvering through with your manifestations, what is in need to, you know, purge, release, and accept within self to truly blossom and open the flower that you are, in your own authentic path, in your own authentic truth, in true expression and illumination of your soul. There's a lot of heart space energy here, a lot of solar plexus energy here. I do have your pile here, but I have the bottom of the deck laid out in front of me. And it seems like right now is a really good time to continue to remain in your truth, remain in focus on your own individual purpose. Releasing any sort of fear that leads to outside persecution for the truth or expression or path that you're taking, because you've done a lot of work within the manifestive realm that represents a lot of fulfillment and abundance for you. So you're definitely being asked to keep moving forward. I know this Mercury retrograde has probably been a relatively hard time for you, especially being a Libra. You know, Libras are all about creating harmony within relationships, within friendships, within communal groups. And if there has been any sort of conflict, you've really been the one to sit back and evaluate and do a lot of shadow work through this time to truly align things where they can be harmonized and aligned to one another, and, you know, still remain intact if things tend to slip away in conflict. Because of this manifestation that you're really you've been moving with, you've worked on for, it looks like, quite some time. There's a lot of solar plexus energy, this true I am presence, knowing, trust in self, trust in soul, trust in abilities, trust in manifestations, that they will truly yield you to a point of surety and fulfillment within yourself. You're really being greeted by the power animal energy here to make sure you stay true to who you are, stay true to your path, stay true to your manifestations, and move forward with charisma and passion and endurance. Taking on, if you are into doing totem animal work, allow them to really guide you and provide you medicine through this time, through perspective, through their perspectives, to integrate into your forward movement. Before we get into your message, we're going to read a random page pull from The Return of Collective Intelligence by Derry Dyer. Being that you are this harmonious individual, this will bring a really good message of collective intelligence, collective consciousness, how things operate within a communal space, especially within the natural world, and kind of reconnecting the aspects of this modern world back to the magic that lies within nature. Trust and know that you are not alone. I know all Libras kind of feel this sort of way, especially when they are the ones who do a lot of work to create harmony, to sustain harmony, and this can kind of separate them from their community, even though they are productively always working on creating a loving space amongst it all. So let's get into the random page pull, and then we will get started with your message here. Okay, so page 100. I'm going to start, there's a subsection here with a few quotes, and then we'll get into the further message. It says, "We can't not learn. Curiosity killed the cat. Satisfaction brought him back." That's a quote from old proverb. "Everything is interesting once you are interested in it." Humberto Maturana quoted. Answers close us, but questions open us." David Rico. "Modern educators struggle to teach, but traditional people and the new science insist that we can't not learn. Watch a kitten, a puppy, a baby bird, a human child. They are driven by curiosity to know their world. Sometimes, as with the kitty in the old saying, their curiosity gets them in trouble, but if they manage to survive their more hazardous encounters with life, they always inevitably learn." David Bohm says, "The ability to learn something new is a principle common to the whole of humanity. Thus, it is well known that a child learns to walk, to talk, to know his way around the world just by trying something and seeing what happens, then modifying what he does or thinks in accordance with what has actually happened. In this way, he spends his first few years in a wonderfully creative way, discovering all sorts of things that are new to him. As the child grows old, however, learning takes on a narrower meaning. In school, he learns by repetition to accumulate knowledge so as to please the teacher and to pass examinations. Education professor Robert L. Fried insists that the desire to learn must surely be as strong as any impulse within the human soul. Children cannot not learn. Adults cannot not learn either. Curiosity continues to drive human behavior throughout life, and when unfettered, it can lead the learner in unimagined directions. Curiosity leads naturally to the kind of group interaction that produces collective intelligence. When people come together in curiosity rather than certainty, magic happens. Sources of deep wisdom are tapped, totally new ideas and solutions emerge. Paulo Freire tells us that this permanent movement of searching creates a capacity for learning not only in order to adapt to the world, but especially to intervene, to recreate, and to transform it. Okay, so I really like the idea of what it touched on, because Libras, I'm a Libra myself. Libras are always the type to want to teach the world around them, to bring some sort of wisdom or clarity within a situation that can create harmony. And, you know, at times this can be looked upon as sort of like an egoic thing. But the thing about Libras is their innate ability to always be in progression of learning. They are constantly learning. They are constantly, you know, studying and experiencing and evolving. You know, they're constantly functioning within their brain to evaluate situations, learn from their experiences, to create some sort of, you know, of their own truthful perspective within a standpoint. And this creates this passion to really express and teach the external world around them what they have learned themselves. And so with this energy, really with all of this solar plexus energy and this manifestive energy that we have at the bottom of the decks here, I think that there's this idea of maybe truly choosing to be surrounded by, as this speaks, individuals that, you know, tie and relate to who you are on a soul level, tie and relate to your passions, your energy, and really be in coexistence with this four-legged endurance card, this power animal card in the Shamanic Medicine Oracle deck at the bottom of the deck. I saw that as the idea of soul family. You know, we have this wolf, this idea of even all of these other animals, but, you know, a pack, being in a space of like-minded individuals, of individuals who see you for who you are, who allow you to be the type of person you are, who really want to learn from who you are, who want to welcome you into a space to productively learn from a situation or experience. You do this past the point of humility. You do this with pure heart, and you really want to, you've been manifesting to really be able to structure yourself in a world where like-minded individuals can be and share in the space with you. There's a lot of, especially if you're seeing this and this resonates, you're either a relatively spiritual individual or you are productively working through the realm of manifestation and gradual progression upon your path. And so you've worked really hard to be able to provide yourself, you know, cleanse and work and study and learning and gained wisdom through the process and manifesting to be able to surround yourself with like-minded individuals, with a like-minded community, with soul family. And so now's a really good time to stay true to your manifestations with that. Stay true to your voice, stay true to what you want. You've worked really hard and you've gained a lot of like checkpoints within your path of this manifestation or your manifestations to not back down from them now. Let's get into your message in the Ascended Mastery Oracle deck. The first card we have here is Paul the Venetian. Experiencing grace. Share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. This was in the reverse. The Miriam, Sacred Vision. Choose to forgive in order to heal. See the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. This was in the reverse as well, the Miriam. And I see this too, these two individuals on this card, the Libra, the scales, being able to balance. Reverse, reverse. And then the third card we have is Kalima, Facing Fear. Major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. And again, this energy of Kalima, she has two strong, very diverse characteristic traits about her. She can be this very loving, compassionate, mothering, nurturing energy. But if you mess around with her, she has this necklace of severed heads around her neck, right? She's the fierce goddess as well as the loving mother. In the Angelarium deck, we have Eastibus, Angel of Divination. We have Tiferet, the Heart Beauty, in the reverse. That wanted to fly out of my hand. Shaligiel, Angel of Snow. And Dot, Null, Emptiness. Okay, so I see this card as a lot of cord removal, a lot of energy pulling, and any sort of negative energy being removed, being purged, being cleansed. That way you can really, with this heart beauty in reverse, allow your heart to really open up here. In tarot, we have Death in the reverse. $14:14 on the clock. We have Six of Pentacles. We have the King of Swords in the reverse. We have Judgment. We have Three of Swords. And the Nine of Cups in the reverse. Okay, and then in the Shamanic Medicine Oracle deck, we have Plant Medicine, Truth. The Great Mystery, Trust. And Birds, Freedom. Okay. So, to get into your message, I see that there is a lot of energy that is coming to a close for you, coming to an ending. You've done a lot of work to, I think through this time, from the looks of it, really revise yourself, really structure and understand your intentions, structure and understand your wants, your needs, and also the space of your external reality, your community, your family, your friends, whatever it is. There is this a lot more energy that has a lot more to do with focusing on the self, focusing on your own needs, focusing on yourself through this time rather than worrying about everyone else. Again, you're kind of that individual that brings harmony to a situation, and through doing so, you do so by acknowledging the unseen, the hidden, the emotion, you know, behind the veil of your community, of your spaces, to, you know, really analyze them, to really do the shadow work behind them. And that's why you become this teacher, right? Because you have this ability to do the shadow work really well. You have this ability to even provide a lot of glue for relationships or situations or, you know, workspaces or friendships, whatever it is, because of this ability to do the work behind the scenes, to truly see things for what they are, develop harmony and perspective behind the veil, so that way externally they can represent that, right? And right now is a really good time to focus on the self, focus internally, focus on your individuality, focus on your manifestations. If you're being called in any sort of direction by external energies, right now is the perfect time to practice setting boundaries with that. Practice really embracing your truth and your space. Your sacred vision here with the Miriam in the reverse is sacred vision. Being able to truly recognize that you hold this very sacred, highly compassed perspective, this sight, and knowing that, like, it's not just for you or your small community, it's productively building and growing and manifesting in something bigger, so that way this can be spread to a larger either group, a larger teaching for the world around you, whether you want to be an artist, a writer, some sort of, you know, mentor. It's really time to focus on the internal self, focus on your boundaries, your internal discipline of your space, your time, to productively work on this, because what you are working on is needed to productively come out. I'm just gonna I might not read these card after card, okay? I'm going to jump around them because that's just kind of how it's playing out, right? But in the Shamanic Medicine Oracle deck with this Great Mystery Trust card, this Great Mystery Trust is all about divine timing. And one thing that divine timing represents is, you know, the checkpoints within a manifestation resembles, you know, trusting the path of the manifestation to yield you to the harvest that you're working for. This also resembles like the chain reaction of things. So if you're working on something and you aren't aligning to your own time properly enough to embrace this deeper work behind what this is, what this teaching is, what this either mentorship, whatever it is that you're working on, that is going to serve a lot of individuals or a lot of energies. This, you know, taking the time to do this is going to be the chain reaction to this great mystery, to this productivity and checkpoints within your manifestation. Of course, the more you do it and the more you know, reach and access these windows within your work, you know, it's like the idea of like a video game. Say you get to a certain point in a game and all of a sudden you come across this like secret door that unlocks this whole new mission or reality or whatever it is, right? Well, you, and I think you know this, you recognize like the secret doorways within manifesting, within productively moving forward, that have like these secret little doors that you can go through that hold like all of this hidden wisdom, this hidden, you know, lesson that you can learn and integrate and use as like this rare item, right? Say if it's a video game, you find this like rare item within this hidden pathway, this hidden doorway, this hidden realm that can be used as some sort of tool or key for, you know, a deeper part of a mission. Or, you know, I think you really care about digging deep into things. You really care about exploring. You care about seeing deeper within the regions of the unseen. And this is why, you know, this manifestation, it's not even just a manifestation for you, it's like a manifestation that the universe has brought you into this picture in order to take on the mission of achieving and completing and uprooting and developing for this world. Something innovative, something different, something constructive that will be able to help other individuals find harmony within themselves, within their spaces, within their life. If you're, I mean, going into maybe possibly the starseed realm, you know, or ascended mastery, any sort of thing like that, it's the idea of really being here for like a deeper purpose, a deeper mission and goal and ability. Being like born with innate abilities that are to be used from you, because that's what you're here to do. You're here to lead with those things. You're here to share those things, especially within this world now, this modern world, using those things to combat any sort of persecution that is happening or that has laid out throughout the history of time itself, where, you know, these abilities have either been persecuted or, you know, this role, this mission has been torn down or abused or created trauma within. It's kind of like being the individual within, if you're an ancestral healer, you know, being the one upon the path to really uproot the dormantized, if that's the right word, soul codes that resemble the power of the ancestry, the voice of the ancestry, the spirit. And that's kind of why you are here. This, let's see, the sun, right? And then right below that, the world. These like golden orbs we have here. This, the idea of being like the golden child, the one who came here for this specific reason. And with this experiencing grace in the reverse, this Paul the Venetian, in the reverse, I see that as like experience the grace of that process. I think the external world might see that like what you do just like comes so easily for you, and you're just nonchalantly moving through life with manifestations, and you're just doing the thing and having a good time, and they don't acknowledge the actual like trauma, stress, and work dedicated that's come with this process of who you are, you know. With this Paul the Venetian, share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you because you spend so much time being empathic to really see behind the veil and to create unity and harmony within situations, relationships, friendships, work experience, whatever it is, oftentimes you're greeted possibly with a sense of gratitude for providing unity and harmony within a situation, but you're not necessarily given that nature back, you know. And that's oftentimes because you kind of put up this front that like you might not need that love. You know, you might not need that same reciprocity because you have yourself under control, you did the work, you know how to do it. And you sometimes come off very independent or hyper independent for this reason. But also times when this comes to a point where now you've, you know, provide so much fuel within a communal cup, and when it comes to your own cup, and your own cup might be, you know, relatively empty or low for the idea of how much fuel you've, you know, really worked for behind the scenes, this can leave you in a space of neediness. So it could be this combating energy of either being perceived as being like hyper independent or like codependent, and really your goal is to create interdependence in between the realm of things and to sustain harmony within something for which other people might not be able to see for themselves. But right now, again, the time to really focus on yourself, the time to focus inward, the time to focus on your own cup, fill your own cup, use the fluids within that for your own engine, using it to help you productively move upon your manifestations with grace, so that way you can externally share your gifts with grace without feeling any sort of exhaustedness or, you know, lack of inspiration or love or hope within it. Libras kind of work in this way of like, as anything, I think you're very real to a point where like if your gas tank's empty, your engine's not going to be able to continue. And I think you've learned how to allow your engine to stop when your gas tank is low. I think previously you may have done this thing where like you ran out of gas within your tank, and you still kept going, and you've still kept trying and still kept helping and teaching and loving and providing energy for your community. And you've really worked on, you know, reserving that for yourself and saying like, no, this is where I have to set my boundary. Now that my tank is empty, this is now where I go internally to do the inner work or whatever it is, right? You really productively worked on that. This is an innate characteristic type of the Libra. This is who we are, you guys are. And it's important to, through the process of all of that, through doing so much work, to also acknowledge that the external world doesn't always see this ability of this. And I mean, that's okay. You know, it is better when you have individuals within your life who can respect your role behind this, your energy behind this, your effort behind this. But the world isn't always going to see the shadow work that you're doing. The world isn't always going to see the effort that you're trying to do to create harmony within a space and continue to also express the value behind who you are within a situation. It's the idea of you wanting to create balanced energy, balanced reciprocity. And I think it's relatively hard for you to say like, okay, well, I'm trying my best to give you everything that I can. And when is that either going to be reciprocated or, you know, I think you've struggled with this throughout life. You've been a very strong giver because that's what you know how to do. And now you're really learning your own balance within self. You're learning your own balance of reciprocity. I think you've manifested a lot of good energies within your life that care about reciprocating where they can. And seeing you and seeing your work and your effort and your value behind how much you care to really, you know, keep keep things intact, keep things in flow state, honestly, and keep things unified. Choosing to forgive in order to heal, see the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. I think this is a really good message for you to, honestly, this may be relative to forgiving, you know, external energies that you have either walked away from or you have parted ways with. But I really do see this as forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself for the need sometimes to hyperfixate on being that harmony, being that balance, being the glue, being the person who feels that they need to take on the weight to create so much unity. Sometimes there has to be chaos in order for things to naturally resolve themselves or naturally maneuver themselves. And this is also like an unhealed trait of the Libra, is the idea of like blocking your own blessings by trying to provide blessings to people who deserve karma. That is a strong, unhealed quality of the Libra that we really have to learn through, is learning how to, you know, you're the type of person that's like, if I'm going to eat, I'm going to make sure you eat too, right? And sometimes you really have to allow yourself to find the law behind that, and the idea of the scales. If you're looking into the idea of law or judgment or legalities, right? Let's talk about like universal moral code, the Hermetic principles, the emerald tablets, what have you, you know, we have so many like ancient things that resemble the universal law. But karma, understanding karma, really helps you identify where like it's okay to allow people to, you know, receive their karma. It's not, you may have been portrayed as bad because like people are like, how dare you, you know, stop giving to me where you have always given to me, and now you finally recognize your worth. How dare you, you know, how dare you let me receive my karma? And so I think you're really embracing your boundaries behind that, and embracing that that's why you have to be in a space of like soul family, soul connections, so that way you don't have to worry about any sort of drama like that anymore. But with this Kali Ma facing fear, that's also kind of the energy that comes from that, the dualistic nature of Kali, the, you know, the kind, loving, compassionate, caring mother, and the ferocious, fiery goddess who, you know, will slay if she needs to. I think you found your balance between that, and this may be being persecuted in your life because this is starting to show and come out, you know? People might start being like, well, who the hell do they think that they are? Because you're not afraid to wear like your boundaries and your self-expression and your truth on your face, whether that represents love and compassion, or if that represents boundary and ferocity. And I think that that's also where this Paul the Venetian in reverse, experiencing grace, comes into play, because, you know, if the outside world is persecuting you, you know, letting them win is allowing yourself to not see that as something graceful within yourself, right? With this Eastabus, angel of divination, and this heart Tiferet beauty, you have this ability again to see behind the veil in order to truly divinate something, to see deeper into something, to perceive something and interpret something. You've done a lot of karma clearing to a point of now being able to truly see things in truth. You may have developed a lot of telepathic abilities, a lot of empathic interpersonal abilities. And this Tiferet heart beauty I see in many different ways, but in the case of what I'm saying, it's the idea of like, you see what's in people's hearts, their subconscious, their heart, what is unhealed within their heart, in order to help them with. You really care about helping people heal their hearts, and that's because you've recognized in yourself how essentially important it is, even if other individuals don't want to recognize the value and importance behind healing the heart. You see into the subconscious world behind, any sort of barriers, and provide others the space within their heart of safety and compassion and love and vulnerability to truly look at these things. And so you have this ability of really interpreting that. And because of that, within that broken, painful space, within that, we have the Shaligiel Angel of Snow, this idea of this, like, the background of this card resembles like ruins and destruction and cold, frozen, stagnancy. Shaligiel is this like magic energy, this sparkle, this twinkle that brings, magic through the winter, magic through the dead cold. And so you're able to, when you're helping individuals, really help them illuminate things in their heart. Find the silver linings, the sparkle, the magic within dead spaces, within painful spaces, and this dot null emptiness helps them remove any sort of negative energy from their space that prevents them and keeps this pain of these, the pains of this heart space trapped within themselves. You really care to help people, birds' freedom, you care to help people set themselves free from any sort of pain, from any sort of suffering, from any sort of timeline that holds them into a space of stagnancy. You'd rather see people evolve and heal, especially within the heart space, so that that way they can live life abundantly with the sun, this abundance, and then the world underneath that fulfillment. And help them, really see where they need to like move away from things or walk away from things in order to embrace the path of healing, the path of that abundance, that fulfillment. I also too see this with this energy. The dualistic side of this is this ability to do this so well for others, but possibly not taking on the energy so strongly to do it within yourself. And you've done a lot of work behind this, but I could see where doing this so much for the external world takes you away and distracts you from really cleaning out the space within yourself and healing within yourself. It's like using the tools for other individuals, and then when you go to use them for yourself, the tools are dirty or overused. And so, having this, really having to make sure you have like a cleansed space with only your energy, with only your own fuel, even like, and that's not to say like if other people provide fuel for you, you're not like gracious and thankful, right? But this isn't usual for you. You're usually the one to provide your own fuel, the one to provide your own energy, your own love. A lot of, that nurturing comes from you for you. And so really using the same energy on yourself through this time, especially through Mercury retrograde, is very significantly important. There are some decisions in the near future for you, it looks like, and all in all, it's going to chain react with this great mystery through you truly developing and enveloping the truth within you at heart, what moves you need to make by taking on, this deeper inner cleanse work and healing work and cord removal work. In tarot, with this death in the reverse, this 6 of Pentacles, and then this King of Swords in the reverse, I saw that as like, I think it's actually more so of a a message of something you have moved away from, or something you're in the process of moving away from. This death in reverse representing an ending that has already happened, and allowing yourself now the space to be in a space of clarity, to really rest and work on your healing through the process, so that way you don't carry the weight from what you have ended forward moving. You know, Beltane was May 1st, and so Beltane is all about the rebirth, all about shedding of the old self, shedding of the old, the past previous year, you know, any sort of energies, letting them die so that way they can truly rebirth and blossom into a new. The idea of this Judgment card, you know, this golden snake shedding its old skin. But something you have moved away from and finally structured your independence behind your value in the realm of reciprocity. You may have been like this, like, endless, like, chain machine, right? Like giving and giving and giving and giving, and now you've come to a point after this ending. I see that as an awakening too, allowing the old self to really die with what you've allowed yourself to take on in life. And that's where this like self-forgiveness comes in, but allowing the old self to really die so you can acknowledge you have a space within reciprocity to receive. You really do. You've drained yourself a lot through the past, and so now it's time to really work on your value, work on seeing your value, work on embracing your voice behind your boundaries and value. Because of course, when you go through the process of embracing your value, the universe is going to send you tests to see if you're really willing to accept it or not, right? And so moving beyond the way that you may have been before, try not to feel disgusted in the way that you were previously. This really takes a lot of forgiveness to accept that, like, to not feel embarrassed in the self, to embrace the healing of this. That's really important, you know? Because you recognize a lot of your own values now, but when, you know, this past, these like old tendencies and habits to kind of like slip into possibly like trauma reactions, for either being undervalued or, you know, even falling back into, you know, the old habits of those coping mechanisms or whatever, or brushing things off and acting like you are okay, that you don't need anything from anyone, that you can carry your own self. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to know that you have an equal space within reciprocity, right? And so holding on to the energies of the past and carrying them with you, not letting them end, is ultimately going to prevent you from really seeing the world from above, seeing the world from a bigger picture, seeing your manifestations and your pathway from that bigger picture, seeing what's to come in the forward movement for yourself, being the leader of your own individual self. And now it's time. You've done so much work behind this already, so now it's really time to embrace the shed of this old skin. Embrace the value of this like golden snake that you are. Snakes have a very amplifying, healing, transformative energy about them. They're able to transmute and alchemize negative energy into positive. That's why snakes have been used for centuries in like healing practices, especially if you're sick, to transmute and shift energy from negative to positive. And then also the character traits where it has 4444, this ability to shed its external skin, to have this new fresh, you know, skin, this way of being, these scales, like they're able to shed, you know, their old selves. And that's another strong quality of what the snake totem takes on. And so taking on the idea that like you can shed your own skin and shed that old, I see that as like old self-expression, the external, you know, the outward expression of this, where in truth in your heart you always knew that you know, needed more, but you didn't have the boundaries to allow yourself the value in expression of this. You're allowing yourself to really embody your values of that. Especially when it comes to your boundaries with your manifestations and what you're doing. With this Three of Swords, I see that again as just the aspects of like not allowing the end has rested, but still carrying on the energy of what was in those timelines is like really still holding energy within your heart that's preventing you from possibly seeing your current situation with true clarity, possibly seeing your situation in a more painful way, allowing yourself to really like pull these swords right out of your heart to dot null emptiness, pull the cords. Definitely cord removal, possibly from old relationships, old friendships, allowing those things to truly be removed. Archangel Michael, ask him to help you do so. Allowing yourself to really clean the heart is going to allow your heart to create balance, to create healing, right? But I also saw this as the idea of like the heart and the feather, the weighing of the heart and the feather. If the heart outweighs the feather, then, you know, that's when you have to go through cycles and trials again when it comes to judgment. When your soul goes through judgment and, you know, approaches the scales, if you have the feather and then you have your heart, if your heart outweighs the feather, you'll be put through the other, you know, the cycles of either reprocessing and healing and learning more about that cycle before you can carry forward. But I see this as like coming upon judgment. Your heart is above this feather. Your heart doesn't, it's the idea of like this feather is outweighing this heart. So take a softer approach on yourself. Stop carrying any sort of baggage or guilt that others want to portray you as for being a person who learns through progression and cares about progressively growing and healing and moving forward and manifesting for yourself. Allow that to rest. Your expectations are yours, and if people want to portray you as possibly being a high expectational individual, it's because of how much you care to move forward, to grow, to heal, and you have a higher, deeper cause, purpose, thing, and you only wish for the world around you to recognize you in light and either learn something from you rather than judge you for who you are. Because when it comes to judgment, you give a lot of love and compassion and generosity and truth and honesty through that space. You care about others progressively moving forward as well. And so allowing the drama to rest, allow yourself to really remove the swords of this persecution from your heart. Surrender, control, and allow, you know, the cords to be removed. So 9 of Cups, you can recognize the transformation that you have done. So you can allow this transformation to really adhere and solidify. 9 of Cups is all about transformation. It's all about, you know, the peacock. If, again, talking about the totem animals, the peacock spreads and opens its feathers in order to create some sort of like awe factor, right? Or to, sure, comes into either mate, whatever, but it's like this confidence. It has this ability to shapeshift and put on the like persona that it wants to like represent in any given moment. If it's pissed off, even, it'll like flare out its feathers like this Kalima and say like, don't mess with me. But it also exudes this type of like hormonal endorphin energy that is able to help whatever is near it interpret and understand the type of energy that it's exuding through. And so it's also this Nine of Cups in reverse, representing like, recognize how like tapped in you are. Recognize your ability to shapeshift. If you're not aware of this, this is going to be something that you, and I don't mean this in a rude way, but you might be very unaware of, might be clumsy behind, because it's the idea of like mastering a part of your character so you know how to truly properly use it. Pay attention and learn more about this, and remove the things within your heart that prevent you from moving forward into the bigger picture to see this, so that way you can really master the next stages and parts of your character development that you're doing, that is going to help you lead into this teacher role, this mentor role, this, you know, someone who has the ability to help others learn and integrate and heal. It's the next initiation to your healing journey, and that might be why it feels like you're going through judgment right now, because you're really now to a point where you have to decide. You've decided in the world around you if the rest is worth it for you. Now you have to decide in heart, are you worth it for you? Are you going to take on this work for yourself, where you have given this externally for so long? And so this is, again, a next step of heart initiation. You're going through a next shift within possibly a Kundalini activation awakening that is going to develop and integrate even deeper and sharper, you know, skill sets and psychic abilities and extrasensory abilities to use. And so in order to do so, you really have to allow yourself to heal, remove, cleanse, and open up space, so that way that energy can really integrate into you and have room to do so. With this plant medicine truth, great mystery, trust, and bird's freedom. Plant medicine. If, you know, you need to take a trip or some sort of medicine endeavor, plant medicine endeavor, in order to truly allow this ego death to happen, I highly recommend it. That's what they should be used for anyway, right? And so allowing yourself to really allow the old self to really pass over, to really shed, to really dissolve, you know, from the internal space, from the heart, from the soul. Allow yourself to really embody forgiveness around that, around, you know, the old self. You've already become so much of a different individual than you once were, to where, you know, now you can really look back at the past self in clarity and acknowledge like the higher self version of you have become, opposed to it. Allow yourself to forgive yourself for not acting out of what you know now, and treating itself the way that you know how to treat yourself now is really significant here. But this plant medicine truth, allow the truth to really envelop and open to you. Allow yourself to really acknowledge the beauty of this sun, this soul, this love, this abundance that you really are. That's a really big quality within Libras, too, that they always have a really hard time accepting the abundance and spirit that they are, because it's hard outgrowing people, right? But trust and know that when you can accept this, the more and more you accept this, the more and more you'll be able to balance yourself in a space of love and compassion and community that equates to this, right? The more value you see in yourself, the more stable your community space will be, because you put yourself into a space of reflection amongst your groups. And so it's important to see the radiance of your soul, so that way you can put yourself in the place that represents this as well. But again, this great mystery trust, allowing yourself to really see how chain reactive things are, to hold trust in yourself. This, you know, again, this lion energy, a lot of like courageous, passionate, fierce energy. We have this lion in the Great Mystery. We have this lion here in the Sun card. We have this lion here in this four-legged endurance card. Yeah, that's what we got. But allow yourself to really integrate the persona of that. You know, the courage, the passion, the endurance, the love, you know, like even when it comes to like endorphins and stuff like that, allow yourself to exude your own energy for yourself in your own authentic truth, right? But also, like, don't be afraid to, again, this peacock, be confident in yourself. Don't be afraid to, you know, if people haven't seen the type of character that you are and you're afraid of being judged because, you know, they're not used to that type of energy, do it anyway. Do it anyway. Allow them to learn something from the type of confidence that you're able to radiate, right? And so, again, just trusting yourself, trusting the solar plexus, the I am, your true knowing, your soul, because this is where you're going to recognize your wings. This is where you're going to recognize the freedom of your soul. This is where you're going to recognize the freedom of your spirit and your desire to want to fly and expand and take on higher heights and lower, you know, all of the things. Take on the terrains and the air and the wind and see things from above, see things from all these different perspectives within the air, whereas without the trust in that self, you might not feel confident enough to allow yourself to spread your wings and fly, right? Libra, I love you. You're doing really well. I know that this time is probably a bit anxious for you, but it's all aligning to your abundance, to your manifestations. Keep working, take some time for yourself, really focus on your own inner care. For the rest of retrograde, I would say, dedicate the full moon to really be in your own element, and, you know, even say on this full moon, you want to do like a meditation, like a cord release or like a cord pulling, cord cutting energy, and allowing yourself to really shed these cords that resemble either old ties that persecuted you or even the old self. It's perfect time to do so is on the full moon. Allow your petals to expand and blossom. It's beautiful. Allow yourself to be confident in doing so as well. Okay, I love you. Have a good rest of your day. Goodbye. Hello Aquarius, welcome to your reading for the full moon in Scorpio. Today we are doing a reading for the next full moon happening on May 5th. This is also known as the flower moon, as well as it being an eclipse day, a lunar eclipse, and being about the midpoint of Mercury Retrograde. We're getting into a lot of vulnerable energy for you here today in hopes to really provide you the internal validation and clarity that you need to move forward with something. The flower moon is all about expanding in self-expression, expanding in confidence and truth of authenticity and who we truly are. And as an Aquarius, you know, the Aquariuses are really the epitome of what it is to be a rainbow child, bringing innovative creativity to this, you know, this modern toxic masculine world, and bringing light and beauty and creativity to, you know, the earthly plane and through their expression. And you guys are that at heart. You guys truly are brilliant and bright and charismatic and compassionate. And in this message, there's a lot of energy. I have your pile here, but I have the bottom of the decks laid out in front of me, and it seems like, you know, you're really combating a lot of persecution for just being the radiant soul, for exactly who you are. and this is causing a lot of pains and obstacles and challenges within your life. But the point is that you're seeing the truth for what it is. You're accepting it regardless if it hurts, and I congratulate you for doing so. And we will dive deeper into your message here. You have a lot of beauty within your heart, and it's really time to allow that to bloom in your authenticity and in your true expression, and to clear away any sort of energies that are, you know, really harming you in this way through your heart space. So before we get into it, I'm going to do a random page pull of this book, The Return of Collective Intelligence by Derry Dyer. This is to bring in, you know, the idea of collective consciousness, the way things happen collectively in a communal space, also tapping back into the beauty and magic of the natural world that, you know, is now relatively ancient due to the modernized masculine construction of what this world has become. And so I hope this message helps you feel sturdy in a space of you deserving to be amongst kindreds who can see you for who you truly are, and how to really heed the path forward as your individual self, but also knowing you're not alone in doing so, and that the internal beauty of your heart is truly valid. So random page pull. Okay, so we will actually do 157 here. This section is called White Lions, Living Archetypes. So, like bees and turtles, the white lions of South Africa are living archetypes. They exist in multiple dimensions of reality, asking us to relate to them not only as living animals, but as the embodiments of the divine. While black Madonnas are expressions of the earth and the moon, white lions are manifestations of the stars and the sun. And this is also, again, a part of your guys' archetype, a part of, you know, the rarity of your spirits, of your souls. It's, if you're into, like, starseed stuff, like the blue avians or even the rainbow children, you guys are, like, literally this new source, sun, soul, energy, abundance, and intelligence here to innovate creativity. So yeah, white lions are manifestations of the stars and the sun. Like the Madonnas, the lions are inseparable from their birthplaces and bring a vital message. The mystery of the white lions that unfolds in Linda Tucker's book of the same name weaves together many of the strands of wisdom preserved in other native traditions. Fittingly, since Africa is likely their most ancient source on Earth and gives them an intriguing new context, Tucker recounts how, under the guidance of two powerful shaman teachers, she uncovers the connection between white lions and humanity's birth and future. The snow-coated blue-eyed lions appear only in the Timbavati region of South Africa and, though considered sacred by tribal people, have been hunted almost to extinction. Tucker finds her destiny entangled with them after she and a group of friends blunder into the territory of the angry pride of tawny lions one night and are rescued by a shaman. The shaman, Maria Koza, becomes Tucker's teacher and connects her to the Credo Mutwa, Africa's lion priest, who eventually initiates her into the mysteries of lion shamanism and helps her understand the white lion's significance. Fearing the ridicule of her academic colleagues, the Cambridge-educated Tucker initiates struggles to fit her paranormal experiences and the information she is receiving from her native teachers into the accepted norms of old paradigm science. But finally, she realizes that I had to take a stand either for science or for sacred science. And when she decides to accept the validity of the ancestral wisdom preserved in Africa's highly complex and secret shamanic tradition, she receives a sweeping view of the bigger picture totally missed by the old science, and the puzzle pieces fall into place in one truly amazing hologrammatic whole. So I think that is beautiful. I hope you understand how that correlates to who you are. It's the idea of like you in context of that story, of that part of this book, is the aspect of the white lion, the misunderstood but the very innovative, sacred, intelligent species that's here to bring a deeper rooted revival in sacred science or sacred connection back to this land. So to get into your message here, in the Ascended Mastery Oracle deck, the first card we have here is Master Jesus, forgiveness. You're on a path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father, healing is possible at this time. That masculine energy, the forgiveness for the masculine energy I see in this, it is in the reverse. I see a lot of that energy as the toxic masculinity that's within the collective as a whole. The idea of like, it's done so much to you because as an Aquarius, you drive so much divine feminine energy, whether you be masculine or feminine or male or female, right? This creative energy that you hold a lot of divinity within it, which resembles the divine feminine. And you've been shown a lot through the toxic masculinity of this world, you know, the type of pain it brings and to the world around you, and you've taken that on personally as a reflection of what's been done here in a larger picture. And that's not to say that your pain isn't valid, but your soul is definitely meant to go through that experience, to know the experience through empathy, why your role is so significantly important for a much bigger picture than just your own individual life, if that makes sense. You have a very strong purpose. You're on a path of light, love, and forgiveness. And through really embracing who you are and forgiving yourself for being this light that you are, forgiving yourself for, you know, being vulnerable and being loving. And when you're able to do so, you can shift your perspective around that to see the strength within that, you know. The second card we have here is Green Terra, Supreme Protection. You are protected, cords are being cut. Move beyond limitation and trust. And really trust that like the sacredness of your heart is so noble and so courageous and so divine, ultimately divine. You guys are the true shift of innovation to this world, and trust and know that you are absolutely being protected. You may know this, right? This being that this is in the upright, I see that as just a confirmation for your trust and knowing how protected you are as an individual. With this Master Jesus, again, we have like this, I don't know if you can quite see it, but almost like dream catcher symbolism here. We also have like these blue lotuses, you know. And then the third card we have here is Hilarion, Divine Healing. Honor your sensitivity. Retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support the light of others. This was in the reverse. I really do see this as this heart space, allowing yourself to feel safe and valid within the sensitivity of your heart. The beauty of sensitivity in this world is the aspect if you're sensitive, you're very empathic. If you are sensitive, it resembles receptivity. You're able to be very receptive in interpretation, 1111. To truly understand the meaning behind this world, the divinity behind this world, the love and heart space behind this world, the soul of this world, and what natural coexistence and harmony and restaurants looks like. You can also see like all these light codes behind his head and his halo here. And then we have in the Angelarium deck, we have Uriel, Angel of Flame. To me, this resembles your cleanse as well as your protection here. This might be a really good opportunity to practice fire cleansing, practice meditating with flame. Flame holds a lot of healing powers within it that allow your aura and your soul and your physical body to really regenerate and heal itself, burning away any sort of energies that try to infiltrate the aura or energetic field, the body, the mind, and allowing yourself to sit in a space of meditation and envision, you know, the internal circumference of your body being filled with, you know, healing fires. Envision those fires really, you know, burning away any sort of toxic energy that's sent your way, any sort of veil that was placed upon you to stagnate you being burned away, any sort of thing like that. But also know and trust your ability to have this like internal fiery soul, sun, light that creates this giant shield of protection around you, regardless if people want to either verbally abuse you for being who you are, verbally persecute you, try to manipulate you or be a trickster into your life because they want to pull you away from their path, which they recognize they can't energetically do, so they try to project that upon you in physical matters. The second card we have in the Angelarium deck is Malkuth, the Grand Kingdom, in the reverse. I see this as a resemblance of a really good time to allow yourself to ground, allow yourself as an air sign, especially in Aquarius. It's very imaginative, it's very astral, it's very like in the sky, in the wind, in the clouds, you know, a lot of that energy is always creating and thinking of innovative things. And so really tethering yourself to the ground through this time is going to help you put your feet back on the ground to continue moving, to, you know, make the navigations out of situations that you need, but also to help you replenish and re-cleanse, connect back to the earth energy, connect back to the divine feminine, the sacred mother energy, and allow yourself to really feel grounded and comfortable in who you are. The third card we have in the Angelarium deck is Duma, Angel of Dreams. And then the fourth card we have is Chesed, Right Hand, Empathy. So, your message has a lot of ascended master and angelic energy within it, and I do see this Duma, Angel of Dreams, and Chesed, Right Hand, Empathy as your guides trying to give you a lot of love and compassion and empathy and, you know, messages of forgiveness of self for yourself through your dream state, through your sleeping, provide you a lot of healing energy while you're in this state. You might currently be going through like living a better life through the dream state right now than you are in the physical, and that's because, sure, one, you're very higher chakra oriented. You guys hold a lot of crown chakra, third eye chakra, throat, heart chakra energy. But it's also like the idea of like your guides are really providing you safe space within that sleep realm right now. And so, you know, that I can see that if you're having like a time where like sleeping is honestly more important for you right now, allow yourself the space to do so. Try not to get too trapped into the sleep aspect, you know, of things. Allow yourself to still live in the physical world. But if it seems like it's sort of like this empathic, you know, escape for you in this moment. even through these times, especially during retrograde with any sort of external chaos, there's a lot of like hope in your sleep space, I think, for you right now. And if there's not, it's telling you where, you know, you need to allow yourself to be more empathic with yourself and your heart space, and allow yourself to receive the messages in your dreams. In tarot, we have the moon. Again, this night energy. You might be even like relatively very active and awake at night because it's where like you probably have more time to yourself. With the moon, I also see it as like this full moon will be relatively effective for you, especially as the flower moon. I also see in this too, though, like the moon also resembles deception. The moon also resembles like shining, like a light shining upon something so a truth can truly be revealed. And so this moon, it's like you might even be like walking with this moon energy right now, allowing yourself to really allow yourself to, bottom of the deck, Fonwell, Angel of Truth, see, you know, the truth within things and allow your intuitive compass to really decide what holds deception and what holds truth within your life. And then the second card we have is the Three of Pentacles in the reverse. And then we have the Fool in the reverse. And then we have Nine of Swords in the reverse. I just saw a little sparkle out of the corner of my eye. Five of Pentacles. And then Death in the reverse. Okay, so this is kind of like an encrypted message. Sometimes readings come out that way for me. Sometimes, you know, they hold like significant like standpoints, but I also see some sort of interesting encrypted message within this. I'll go into these in just a moment. But with tarot, I really see that like, so this is going to resonate with someone who's watching this, okay? Whether it be you, whether it be multiple people. Don't adhere to this message unless it's valid, please. I am going to deliver the message for the sake of the individual it needs to reach. But if it doesn't resonate with you, don't make it fit. So with this moon card, this Three of Pentacles in the reverse and the Fool in the reverse, I see that as someone going through a process of someone really trying to veil energy upon someone to create blind spots or to create like lack of navigation, knowing where they're going within a situation here. You know, trying to prevent someone from fully accessing their intuition or creative internal guidance to know how to navigate upon this fool's journey, upon this path, upon, you know, their evolutionary process of growing and adapting to who their soul is and really expanding their creative expression and understanding and ability. This moon, so it's like, I see it, so this moon, we talked about what that means. With this Three of Pentacles in reverse really resembles like someone not being seen for the clarity of who they are. I also see in this little cryptic message this idea of like someone being seen falsely or someone being seen in a very ill-intentioned way. And whoever this energy is over this individual, this energy is like ill-intentionally looking at this individual, trying to create this deception that prevents the walk upon this path, the walk upon this journey, this, you know, this learning experience, this new pursuit for higher learning, for self-evolution, for manifestation, whatever. And that's causing Nine of Swords, this like internal anxious energy that like either doesn't know how to go, but also might relatively feel, being that this is the swords, like this lack of ability, or like lack of self-awareness behind how powerful their mind is, causing a lot of anxious energy. Nines are all about mastery. So being really close to mastering something, being really close to the completion of something, and you have done a really good job through like structuring your mind power, and you might be like really to a point within that like you're healing your mind in the external world, or someone in the external world is seeing you for this, and they want to like really prevent you from either making a decision to part ways, making a decision to choose your own path here. But whatever it is, they're trying to prevent this journey from happening and causing a lot of anxiety, or attempting to cause a lot of anxiety in the process. I even like heard the idea of possibly like being guilt tripped for a lot of things, or like being you know, filled, like someone just like constantly trying to like program your mind with like energies of like really negative what ifs, or you know, any sort of energy to try to like fear you from taking this leap. Any sort of energy trying to like fill the mind with like this perspective of being trapped, like program the mind to think that it doesn't have anywhere to go to evolve, that like it doesn't belong in a space of evolution, because like something is either going to block them, they're not going to be worthy enough, or something's going to be in the way. Whereas this individual, or this energy trying to do that, is what's in the way from this evolution, this expansion, this growth, this ability to transform, to, you know, go into the chrysalis and really allow yourself to evolve into a new being for yourself. And they're really trying their best to like be this wall, be this prevention from doing so. With the guidance is being told to, angelic guidance is, and ascended mastery guidance is really being told to like go into this little crevice, go into this dark cavern, allow yourself to be, you are the light source. So going into that dark space, greeting ancestral energy is really significant, because you're really connected to the higher dimensions, and now it's time to go into the lower dimensions to find your way out that way. There is a rainbow bridge from the underworld that goes up to the upper world within that dark space. If you look into, you know, Yggdrasil, or you look into the world tree, or different aspects of that depiction, the world tree, Yggdrasil has the rainbow bridge that goes from, I don't know what the dimensional worlds are, but the lower underworld, there's a rainbow bridge that leads from the underworld, arches up into the upper dimensions. And that's really the path that Spirit's like guiding you to take here. So that way you can remove yourself from this energy and disappear without it even realizing. And that's going to allow this death in the reverse, this ending, to finally occur. I think that all of this anxious energy is really creating, this could be either externally intentional for you or not, this idea of like creating this space of not knowing if things are going to end, not knowing if you're going to have to be stuck in this energy, if, you know, this is all that there is for you, or, you know, even really create a lot of internal turmoil and depression and anxiety, and, you know, lack of awareness within yourself that can cause a lot of damage for you. This is really all about like something really trying to prevent you from creating an ending here, from reaching an end point here. And your guides really want to help you see the illumination of the divine feminine internally, so that way you can truly take the path of that. Go through the underworld, go through, greet the ancestral realm. They are going to help you see where this has been a trend within the ancestral body for so long, to be persecuted the way that you've been persecuted. And so they want to show you how they got out and became the ascended masters into the higher dimensions, right? They want to show you how they moved past the obstacles, moved past the tricksters, right? The challenges, and really were able to truly evolve and leave the past in the past, and ascend, ultimately grow, heal, and ascend. And so in the Shamanic Medicine Oracle deck, I really feel that, and I'm glad I put these aside so we didn't open them up yet, but I feel like this is going to be a lot of ancestral energy that's going to greet you into this space, greet you into the ancestral connections and energy, to help you recognize your power and way of navigation with them. Okay, first card we have here is Birth Renewal. The second card we have here, Medicine Wheel, Continuation. And the third card we have here is Stone People Knowing. This card resembles the ancients who were able to obtain the ascended mastery, and this is tied to your ancestry. How silly is that? Perfect. Okay, this is beautiful. So the ancestral energy really wants, your ancestors really want to help you evolve and rebirth. They want to help you renew the soul. They want to help you clean, purge, heal in these lower dimensions through their own cycles, continuation, experiences, lessons, stories, so that way you can see in endurance what you need to endure, or what you need to do to truly endure the path moving forward for you. I see too as like they're very connected to this, like this realm of dream state, you know, this escape realm. You might honestly be leading into a deeper connection with astral journeying or trance work, through the imagination, being that, you know, the upper chakras, allowing yourself to really use your upper chakras to connect to this energy and meditate, astral travel, and see things that your ancestors have experienced, where they have evolved, where they have, you know, broken the cycles of obstacles within their timelines to really achieve this ascended mastery role. I see too as like this is something that, like, since birth, like your ancestors' spirits have been leading with you, even though like they haven't been fully loud, fully connected to you. They've always been waiting in the back, watching you, waiting for this time to come for you to finally approach them in this way, because you've been connected with a lot of the angelic and ascended mastery energy throughout your life. And now that they've been waiting literally to this point in time, divine timing, to where the angels and the ascended masters would introduce you to the ancestral body for which you came from, that represents the ascended masteries that guide you. And so it's all interconnected. It's really interesting how that works. But with this birth, this rebirth, they knew since you were just a baby when you were born. I'm also sensing maybe some sort of either, this could be in a generation that you were alive to see, or it was a generation earlier, maybe even two, this like divine feminine, like high priestess, grandmother or great grandmother sort of energy. And this could be for multiple of you. This could be an egregoric nature to fit the viewer individual lives as you are watching this as an individual, right? But this energy that's really been here for you and watching you and like trying to prepare you for this rebirth. The synchronistic events that have played out for life, because it's interesting how this individual trying to block you from accessing this, there's really an energy here that wants to assure you, and they almost have a little bit of humor behind it, and I don't want to like make that feel like desensitized for you, but this aspect of like, understand that all of the trials and tribulations that you have faced within life, you had to go through in order for those souls to be delivered the proper karma that they have to go through, so that way they can lose power in being an obstacle for the souls that truly are here to help this world thrive. And that's interesting, and I can relate to that. Even like, say for my father, he has kind of like a relative connection to me in that way. But try not to take on, you know, all of this weight too personally, because it's not your fault. Under divine timing and the way that this world works, we kind of had to lay it out that way, but your soul decided to face these things so that way you can truly unveil these things, allow these things to be removed as obstacles and be placed where they needed to be put karmically, so that way the rest can really break free and have this like rebirth, you know, allow themselves to truly take this flight. And although it might all play out in such like a, obviously like a deeper, more physical reality, human way, emotional way, they want you to trust the long-term process of seeing this from their perspective. They want to guide you and help you heal and show you the cycles of which they have been doing this for so long. I really do see this as possibly like there might be some sort of like psychic trickster energy within your ancestry that has literally been doing this, like tricking the trickster in a way. And that sounds really interesting and silly. I'm just saying what's coming, right? I'm just allowing it to channel out of me. I hope this makes sense to you. But they've been doing this for a really long time, and this is creating so much justice for the ancestral body, for the world around them. This is something that they're very good at, is like tying up the trickster energy once they've learned how to master being able to trick the trickster in a way. And it's a lot of like Loki energy even. Wolf energy, I was just gonna say wolf energy, and there's this wolf, we have like this coyote, another like pack of wolves here, okay. But trust and know, and we greet you into a space of meditation to like see the path that we have walked, to see the cycles and continuations of our ancestry, to see the soul and strength of our tree, and of our lineage. And we also like greet you into this space to acknowledge within time where we have like overthrown the obstacles, or even where we may have been defeated and then reaccumulated strength through this wheel of time. They want to show you where life continues, where life keeps going, where, you know, your soul is so significant that like this cycle of life needs to continue, and they really want to provide the endurance and protection for you to truly know that. I feel like all of what I just said was kind of like divine intervention from someone like genuinely, someone's spirit team really genuinely needed their person to hear that. But stone people knowing this ascended mastery. They want to walk you down the hall of your lineage's ascended masters and show you where you belong, where your face, you know, was carved in the stone so many thousands of years ago. And they want to show you where you now have been rebirthed into this place to serve another chapter in the cycle of your ancestry through being an ascended master. This deep knowing, this soul. That's the thing. It's silly how, like, literally all Aquariuses, they're so ancient. They really are. You guys are so brilliant and so wise, just like straight at birth. You guys hold so many deep qualities and wisdom that can relatively be very tricksterish and like comedic because of how much you guys' souls have experienced, and let alone like the empathy and sensitivity within them as well. It's interesting how they either play, you know, these extremely heightened, sensitively receptive, or the trickster type nature. Sometimes you are born with both, but oftentimes it's these two relatively like two different energies that play out within your archetypes. But so they really want to show you why you're here through meditating with them, through greeting your ancestors. Allow yourself to go into a space of meditation, even setting intention. Say, like, if you have a notebook and you really want to intend yourself to working with them and greeting this space intentionally and productively, write a note to them. Say, like, I heard your call. If you're seeing this and this resonates, like, take it. Don't be like, oh, I don't know if that was for me. No, this was for you. And allow yourself to write, like, I heard your call. I would like to speak with you. I would love to understand what my role is amongst the lineage, and how, you know, I can work with you in co-creation to assist me with my manifestations moving forward outside of any sort of obstacles. Everything's timeless. They already know that this is happening because I'm delivering the message. Allow yourself the comfortability in knowing that you are an equal amongst them. You are a part of them, and to greet them, you know, with like a where do we begin type energy. But ultimately, this is all going to lead you outside of this pain, outside of these obstacles. Behind this trickster energy, we have this medicine shield of protection. They are really on guard surrounding you. Working with them is even going to strengthen your shield stronger, and to really allow you guys to stand in this infinite team of amplification, light, energy, love, harmony, and reverence for, of course, your lineage, but doing so is also reflecting externally to the world around you. Aquarius, I'm very proud of you. I know this time is relatively tough through this experience. I hope that this brought this silver lining and secret doorway to your dreams. Ultimately, this was beautiful. I love being able to tap into energy like this. And if you would like a personal reading or to work with me personally deeper, any sort of ancestral energy or understanding your path with your ascended mastery, I do have a link at the end of this video on my ending panel video clip thing of the video. It's on my link tree. You can either contact me, book a session, whatever. But if you do need help, I'd love to be there for you. All right, happy full moon, happy blossoming. I'm really proud of you. Stay grounded. I believe in you if you needed to hear that. And you have a great rest of your day.